Hi everybody, it's Scott, and I have a new musical adventure to share with you. The musical adventures you've seen on this channel before are me going out into the world and playing in some large ensemble of saxophones or other things. This one, appropriately for a pandemic, happens at home. I've learned to play the flute. I bought a used one a couple months ago, and it was a rough start because it's not an easy instrument to start playing. But I made progress, and you might have seen the other videos on this channel where I try to play different pieces of music. And I'm proud to report that this last week I bought a new flute. That's kind of the point of this video. I bought a new flute. I'm so excited. Nothing will motivate you to practice more than getting a new instrument. This one is better than the last one. It comes in this lovely French style case. And it's a Pearl 505. I've been told it's actually a pretty good model. It's not a professional model, but it has some really nice features. Silver plated, has a split E mechanism, offset G. It's got a C foot, not the fancy B foot, but I can't play the low notes anyway. So if you're not sure what you're looking at, if you're not a musician, just enjoy the shiny object. I've been fascinated with musical instruments for a while because I think music is magic. What we're doing when we sing or we play, really, is we're coming into physical contact with you, the audience. We're vibrating air, vibrates the air in front of it, which vibrates the air in front of it, all the way to your eardrum, and vibrates your eardrum inside your ear. So I'm touching you indirectly, just like I would touch you with a stick. I'm touching you with air. And you're perceiving that as music, and I'm communicating. Just kind of like when we talk too, it's the same thing. I'm vibrating air, you're hearing it. But music is magic. And musical instruments are the way that we perform that magic. There's history behind musical instruments. This started out, which is kind of a complicated, device, started out as a tube with holes in it. Some of the earliest musical instruments that we found are flutes made out of bone from thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. So they discovered, mankind discovered that we could blow across a hole and make music, and then years and years and years of development, we come up with something like this, a modern concert flute. Let's see here. The first thing that you have to do when you learn to play the flute is get a sound out of it. And if you see here, there's just a hole in the mouth, in the head joint, that you blow across. And I've watched YouTube videos of people learning to play, and they wonder why they can't get a sound out of it. And really, you spend a lot of time in lessons learning to get a sound out of it. Somewhere way back, I learned if you put the center of your top lip right in the middle of the hole, whoop, and then roll down, that puts you in the right position to get a good sound out of it. But just because you can get a sound out of the head joint doesn't mean you're going to necessarily get good sounds out of the flute when it's assembled. And here's the foot joint, which goes on the end there. That's a beginner sound. Let's see if I can do better than that. So the low notes actually are a little bit difficult. They require a lot of air and a lot of focus. And it's all about controlling your airstream. So controlling your body to control the instrument is what it's all about. Anytime you're learning an instrument, you're learning how to control it. And your progress really is measured in how much control you have over your instrument. Can you make it sound louder and softer? Can you make the tone sound warmer or more pure tone? And how fast can you move your fingers to get the notes out? And can you coordinate moving your mouth with moving your fingers? And of course, I have more control over my saxophones than I do the flute, because it's new to me. But I come to playing the flute with with some advantages, a little bit of a head start. I read music, of course, from reading from playing other instruments and singing. I know what it's like to finger a woodwind instrument. The fingerings might be different, but the concept is the same. I have a sense of musicality that is not just playing notes, making music. So phrasing, articulation, volume changes. I don't always do it, but I do try. So I come to this instrument with a little bit of a head start. My real challenge is getting consistently good notes out of it. But this is helping because it's a very responsive instrument, more so than the student flute that I was playing just recently. So when I blow, the note comes out right away. It's very quick to respond. So that's nice. And my progress is being measured in how new notes arrive to me. So like in the middle of the range, I can play those notes. When it gets high, it gets harder, and when it gets lower, it gets harder. And with practice, what's my experience has been new notes arrive, like, oh, I couldn't play that high D, and now I can. And oh, now I can play a high E, and now I can play a high F. And let's see if I have any of those notes right now. And that's a high G, and I didn't have that note just a few days ago. So welcome, high G. You're a new arrival. Anyway, and the other thing is you have to have good breath control and a steady stream of air on any instrument, but some are more forgiving than others. The sax and clarinet are definitely more forgiving than the flute. If you're not creating a steady stream of air, you're going to hear it right away. And the other advantage I have is I used to play the recorder, and it was the same thing. It was it has a whistle mouthpiece, and any kind of unsteadiness you can hear right away. And I guess the other big thing is there's no resistance to blowing. You're just blowing air into air. When you blow into a reed mouthpiece, there's that pressure there that you're blowing against. And that's good. It makes, to me, it feels stable. The way I've described it is it feels like leaning against a wall. And you've got that, okay, I'm leaning against the wall, nice and stable, and then I can, do all these things with my sound. But the flute, there's not that. It's almost like standing on one leg and trying to do whatever you're doing with your sound. And you could fall over in any direction at any one time. You have to really, center yourself. Not literally, but figuratively, So I'm not talking today as an expert by any stretch of the imagination. I'm still learning, and the curse of learning a second or third instrument is when you make a mistake, you know what mistakes you're making. So I play, and I think, I've got to focus my tone more. I'm not giving it good breath support. And some of those you can fix. You can just give it more breath support, or I know I should play those notes more steady when I play da 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 da. Those need to be evenly spaced, and sometimes my fingers don't do on this instrument what I know they should and what I can do on other instruments. So I'm still learning, but I'm enjoying it, and I encourage you too, if you're doing anything, and you should be doing something besides work, whether it's shooting hoops or learning to, play basketball or a video game. I'm not a big fan of video games, but playing a musical instrument, learning to draw, learning to paint, anything that requires practice and repetition in order to get better. I encourage you to just enjoy where you're at and not get too frustrated when you're not doing as well as you would like to do. Enjoy where you're at, enjoy not doing well, and with the right kind of practice, you'll see little improvements, and celebrate those little improvements. You're not there yet, but you could play notes today you couldn't play yesterday, or this passage was cleaner, or however it applies to the activity that you're involved in. Enjoy it, celebrate those little improvements, and if you stick with it, you will be able to do things you couldn't do before. I guarantee it. But it takes a little faith in the process, and it takes some stick-to-itiveness. So that's my message, and that's my introduction to my my new purchase, the new addition to my musical instrument family. If anybody wants to buy a student flute, let me know, because I still have that other one that I think I'll be playing this one all the time. So I'd like to play a little music for you so you can hear how it sounds. Please enjoy that. And oh yeah, on YouTube we're supposed to say, remember to subscribe, remember to like this video and subscribe and hit that little bell to be notified when new videos are released. I really don't care. I'm not trying to build a big YouTube channel, so do that if you'd like to, but these are for my friends and family and anyone else who's interested to watch and learn from and enjoy. So enjoy the music, and I will see you soon.